Welcome to the AI Applied podcast. I'm your host, Jaden Schaefer. Each week, I cover breaking AI news, tools, and interview experts giving you actionable tips on applying AI into your career, job, workflows, and life. Make sure that you go to aibox.ai, link in the show notes, to join the waitlist for our new AI platform. We're going to be launching an incredible platform that allows you to build anything you want with workflows in AI. So you're able to chain together ChatGPT and image generators and audio generators to make really powerful apps for your organization, or you can host them on our marketplace and actually generate royalties from them. So make sure to go to aibox.ai and join the waitlist. In addition, if you like the podcast, if you could do me a massive favor and please leave us a review on Apple or Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcast. This helps me be able to get better guests on here as they check the reviews to see how you guys are liking it. So if you could please do that, I would really appreciate it. Today on the podcast, we are diving into a very interesting development in the AI travel industry. Since ChatGPT first launched, there's been some pretty obvious use cases for this in travel and essentially replacing and becoming a virtual travel agent. We had companies right off the get-go when, GPT-4 launched and ChatGPT plugins launched, and with their big announcement, like Expedia and Kayak, who I believe is owned by Expedia, both coming out with integrations for using ChatGPT. And it makes a lot of sense, right? You could, instead of having to go to Expedia and click a bunch of drop downs and change all of your settings to have the perfect trip, you could be a lot more vague and get a lot more information using Expedia or kayak.com's API. So you could say something like, I have a group of 3 people and we're looking to travel sometime in the spring. We really like these 5 countries. We'd love to go to somewhere with, some waterfalls and somewhere that's really popular for beach destinations, whatever. And then you could give it some stipulations and it could go and you could say, like, I'm looking for things that within this price range. You could say things in a lot like ranges, essentially, is what I'm saying. It's a lot easier to give ranges to something like ChatGPT, whereas when you're looking at something on Expedia or Kayak, normally you're saying, I'm looking for these and these dates with this many people. And I want to go to this destination, and then it will give you, quotes for that. So I think there was a really cool use case for this where it could give you really customized, personalized results based off of what you're looking for in a way that it wasn't really possible to do before. So obviously, ChatGPT had a big impact on travel. Now, what is that? Why is that important for today? So today, Priceline, which is, Expedia's big competitor, a big travel agency company, they announced that they're going to be using Google's AI to power their virtual travel agent. And I think this is a really interesting story right now because with the way travel is going and with the way AI in general is going and the way it's getting integrated into every line, you very often see that one of the easiest ways to do this is everyone is just grabbing an API to OpenAI and integrating it into their products. And I think this is a really interesting point where we're seeing, one of the big competitors in a space kind of go against that, and instead of partnering directly with OpenAI, they're going with Google. Now, this is kind of interesting, and I'm not sure how much this plays into it, but for those that don't know, Expedia, who is kind of regarded as one of the biggest online travel agencies, was actually a spin-out from Microsoft way back in the day, I believe the 90s. And what happened was there was an internal team there that were working on ways to create essentially internet companies. It's kind of around the .com bubble area. And Expedia was a spin out where it was like, Microsoft was testing different use cases of the internet, and Expedia was very successful. So it ended up getting spun out as its own company. It was its own travel company. I'm not sure if Microsoft owns shares in that company or what the arrangement there was. I do know that, around the time Microsoft had a lot of issues around anti-competitive stuff. And so I'm assuming they didn't really want to convolute their business, like, oh, we have this travel arm and we have, the Windows arm and all these different arms. And so Expedia was sold off or spun off into its own independent company. Now, the reason I bring that up is because I do think it is very interesting that with the launch of ChatGPT, Expedia and Kayak, which is owned by Expedia, were chosen as like the 2 travel examples that got early access to GPT-4. They got to integrate GPT-4 into their platforms before anybody else. They got to create GPT-4 plugins on ChatGPT's platform before anybody else. And I wonder if that is because they had ties to Microsoft and if Microsoft was able to pull that, or simply because they're just one of the biggest. I'm not sure. But in any case, it does make it more interesting now that Priceline, their big competitor, isn't going the same route, isn't doing the same thing, but is going with Google. And I wonder if this is, they're worried that, perhaps Expedia is always going to have the one up. They always have the in. When the new GPT-5 model comes out, it's going to be Expedia that gets it first, and Priceline is going to be left in the dust. So there's like preferred vendors essentially going on with this. So I'm not sure if that's the case or why, but perhaps Google approached them. But it is interesting that Priceline is going with Google, and this is one of the first big companies as I've said, that is going with Google. And I think this is a really awesome thing for the ecosystem. It's showing that we do have a lot of options, and I think this is going to be really powerful. Now, that being said, I believe that there is a lot of different benefits to going with Google, and one of those is a lot of the new tools from Google's cloud division. They give Priceline access to some really powerful generative AI that they have been building. And I think that this is going to, just partnering with their cloud division, perhaps Priceline is also, by doing this, getting a deal on the cloud computing and those costs as well. So this will be interesting for Priceline. I think, really embracing this new technology is going to help with a lot of different travel features that they have. And I think that they're really exploring right now how this entire AI segment is impacting travelers. And as you look at it, its big rival Expedia has said that ChatGPT is going to power all of the conversations on their smartphone app, on their website, and it's going to give a lot of travelers inspiration on places to book. So not just, answering their query, but also, kind of pre-search, trying to help them find places to book ahead of time. And so I think we're going to be seeing these two big companies duking it out between Microsoft and Google. And I think this is awesome for the ecosystem. I'll be really excited to see if there's other apps that decide to go with Google over OpenAI, and to see what the differences in the products that are coming out of that. But in any case, I think this is a really big move, and I will be definitely following this very closely in the future. If you are looking for an innovative and creative community of people using ChatGPT, you need to join our ChatGPT creators community. I'll drop a link in the description to this podcast. We'd love to see you there, where we share tips and tricks of what is working in ChatGPT. It's a lot easier than a podcast, as you can see screenshots, you can share and comment on things that are currently working. So if this sounds interesting to you, check out the link in the comment. We'd love to have you in the community. Thank you for tuning in to the AI Applied podcast. Make sure to rate this wherever you listen to your podcasts, and have a fantastic rest of your day.